right, Aaron. So we finished up all of the legal aspect of it with the informed consent and confidentiality. So how about you tell me what brought you to see me today?
Well, I've just been going through a lot of life things here and there, some difficult obstacles in my life. I just needed someone to talk to about it other than having no one to talk to, so I'd rather get it off my chest instead of holding it on.
Okay, so you said you have a lot of things that's going on in your life and you don't have anyone to talk to. So what's been going on?
Well, well, first of all, I had recently kind of quit my full time job, and it was like a stress reliever kind of, but then it kind of put me in back into a financial type of burden because I had to figure out what I was going to do and what job I was going to get to continue to have the income that I had normally. So it was a lot for me to deal with that because I'm like the way my mindset is. I'm like a money type of person. Like I have to have money all the time, and it kind of it's like a hurt piece for me if I don't have a certain amount of money where I just can't go do what I want. So it was kind of stressful. I was kind of depressed about that for probably a week and a half or so. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's getting easier by the day. It's not like I don't have any income or anything like that, but it's just not used to. It's not the same as what I used to get. So I'm just trying to work with it and get my financial situation together. But that was the most recent thing that happened, and um, recently, which I told you before, my mom. Well, I wasn't talking to my mom, but now, like out of the blue, now we're kind of like talking again. I don't really know how to feel about that because when we stopped talking, it was for like a serious reason, and now it's like, do we forget about what happened and move on, or I just, you know what I mean? It was really no. I apologize. I apologize for hurting. It was none of that to make me feel like our relationship can be fixed and repaired and we can move on. So it's just I don't even know where to begin to even think about it. I mean, I try not to think about it because it makes me upset that my feelings always get pushed under the rug or forgotten about, like things that didn't happen, and you just move on. This is I'm a person. Like, why do I have to keep just letting people just move on from, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They hurt my mother, hurt my feelings. You know what I mean? It wasn't that I might have hurt her feelings, but it's not the same. None of that was the same for me. So it hurt. It kind of hurts to not feel like how you feel matters, or what you say and do in your life matters to anybody. You know what I mean? It's just even my mother at that, and we already have a rocky relationship. I have a rocky relationship with both of my parents, honestly, but or my mom's relationship a little bit easier because like it's my mom. I was with her more than I was ever with my dad, so I would be better off having a relationship with her sometimes than my dad because I don't even know where to begin with my father and all of them emotions. So I just put that. I try to deal with one thing at a time because it's a lot.
Okay, so I think what we should definitely do right now is let's take a deep breath in, let it out slow. So what you're going through is a lot, and anybody in your position would feel like that. That is a lot to deal with. So you're dealing with the whole aspect of your job, and you having to leave that job, and you're worrying about the financial burden that you're dealing with. And then you have the relationship with your mom that was torn apart, and now you put it back together, and now you're confused about how to feel. And then I heard you say that you're depressed, and you're feeling hurt, and you're not really sure how to feel. And then you kind of threw the relationship in with dad, but you kind of want to wait to deal with that at a different time. It's,
Yeah,
okay,
that's right.
so when you say that you feel hurt when it regards the relationship with mom, tell me, what does hurt feel like for you?
Hurt is like when when like my mother knows that I was hurt about the whole situation, and for her to not like try to even apologize or even understand, just skip over the whole situation, act like nothing happened, act like my feelings are not still hurt, and we can just move on. It's that easy, and it's just not that easy for me. We will never have the same relationship ever again,
Mm-hmm.
and she probably might not understand that, or she might be thinking that she's trying, what we're doing is trying to fix. What the fix is not what our conversations are not fixing anything between us. It's just general conversation. It's never going to be anything meaningful. I will never come to her ever again for anything in my life that I have or plan, or what I'm going through, or any type of decision making. She would never be the person I go to. I mean, I really don't have anybody like besides my spouse that I would actually go to talk about in my my uncle, but that is different too. But to go to actually vent or talk about my feelings or how I feel or decision making or whatever's going on with me that I need to get off my chest, she would never be that person I go to anymore, because she already showed me how she responds to things that I do in my life. So why would I continue to involve her more in my life than, and I already seen what happened from the decisions that I made and how our relationship changed because of something I said of my what I want to do with my life. So yeah, I just don't. I feel like it will never be that mother daughter relationship anymore. But it's more like an acquaintance. It's not. I can't even say a friend. Like
So I can definitely understand where you're coming from when you say you're hurt because of the mother-daughter relationship that you had with mom that you no longer have with mom. So could do you feel comfortable telling me what the situation was that caused the breaking you and mom's relationship?
I mean, it was the last break was about my marriage, but it's not like this is the only time I had a falling out with my mother where we split. We didn't talk, and then we came back to talk. She's my mother, so eventually we are going to come back to talk. But it's not like anything got resolved, and that's just the issue for me. Something happens, but nothing never gets resolved and to fix anything or build on any type of relationship, because we're not fixing anything. I feel like we're just covering it up with bandages every single time we go through something, and I'm just tired of covering a wound up with bandages, so it's never going to heal. Like I'm never going to heal from any of that.
Mm-hmm.
But the last event was with my marriage and how she was upset because I went off and got married without telling her and my sister, and it was a lot. It was like she belittled me for one, and she made me feel like I'm not intelligent. I didn't like the way she talked to me. It was like demeaning. So yes, I know you were supposed to respect your mother, but when you start to hurt my feelings and become demeaning to me and become making my personality and who I am lower than what it is, I'm not. I have no respect for you. You're not respecting my feelings, so why should I respect anything, mother or no mother? I'm not going to sit up there and take that. So I'm sorry. I'm just. Yeah, I said some heavy words, and I did said some heavy words to her, but it is what it is. I'm not going to let you hurt my feelings. If your mother, if you could be my mother or anybody else, I'm not going to let you hurt my feelings. And you already hurt my feelings because you are my mother. So the hurt is different than it would be for anybody else. For a friend, if it was a friend or somebody I didn't care about, it would have been like, whatever, I don't care, I don't gotta deal with you, whatever. But you're my mother. I came out of you, so it's like that relationship is like hard not to have.
So what I'm hearing you say, just from everything, which is a lot, and you use a lot of feeling words with hurt and mad and upset and everything, and I understand where you're coming from, with that aspect because you said that you came from her, that you are her mom. So on one hand, you wanted that relationship because that is mom, because you guys have that mother daughter bond. But on the other hand, if I heard you correctly, because of the up and down relationships you guys had, the bond just initially broke with having issues, and then ultimately the decision you chose to get married with the spouse without informing mom first, and the conversation that you guys had, and you feeling like she was belittling you and demeaning you and disrespecting you, and you decided that that was the final moment for you. So if you could turn back the hands of time, looking at the timeline of the relationship with mom, where would you change anything, if anything, to have a different outcome of your desire?
I mean, I feel like it would be nothing I can do to change any outcome of me and my relationship, because I'm only one person, and it takes two to build any type of relationship. And if I'm having one feeling, and if I'm trying to do this with myself and trying to figure with my mother, that's just me. My mother, that's more of the problem. I don't know where she's coming from. You know what I mean? I don't know what her issue is. So it's more of her issue than really it is with me. Like, her issue that she has with the things I do, because I don't have an issue with anything she does. I don't have an issue because she's my mother. Like, what say do I have on her life, and as well, what say that she has on my life? So I'm not really, you know what I mean? Like, ain't nothing I can change, because whatever it is, it was gonna play out the same way regardless of how it went. Because my mother was still gonna do whatever she was gonna still say how she felt, and I was gonna still say how I felt. It was gonna end up that way anyway. So with me, I was never gonna not open my mouth and express how I feel and how she hurt me, or you're not gonna tell her that you're disrespecting me, or went from 1 to 10. It would always happen, because I wasn't going to allow her to say what she said. So it's nothing I can change. I can't go back and change anything. I mean, the most thing I can go back and change is from the first time that it happened, that first time the hurt happened, we shouldn't try to cover it up. That's the only thing I would probably change, to address the situation physically, like address the situation before you try to just move on from it. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I would have to change for anything else to come about.
So you have a lot. You and mom's relationship seems to have kind of sculpted how you are today, and your feelings towards it at this point seems not seems your feelings you it seems not in the most positive manner, and no matter how much you try, you feel as though no matter what you would have done, the result would have still been the same. So you mentioned something about a sister. What is the relationship that you have with the sister?
It's not really even kind of our relationship is more of, we know we sisters. We know that we came from the same mother. That's our relationship. It goes no more than that. Like, you know how some families and have strong bonds with their sisters, strong bonds with their family. No, that's not me and my sister. If we weren't still talking now, we don't talk every day. I'll probably talk to her every 3 months, every 6 months. It's not a genuine trying to. I mean, we try many of times to build and keep a strong relationship, but with our lives being so different, she's doing this, I'm doing that, it's so hard for us to come together sometimes.
So what happened that you said, if you and your sister were still talking now, what happened that you and your sister are no longer talking?
Well, that situation pretty much started because of my mother. And my mother didn't, the whole marriage thing, if my sister didn't know that about the marriage thing, my mother would have allowed me to approach my sister in a different way and heard it from me first, it probably would have been different. We probably would have been still talking. Probably would have been talking to my mom still, but we probably would have been talking. But that's not how it went. My mom decided that she wanted to put she wanted to get my sister on her side on how she felt about me. So at that point, I felt like ganged up on by my mother and my sister because they're both coming at me in a strong negative manner as possible. So it's overwhelming that these are only two people in my life. Like I don't really have a relationship with my dad. Like I said, I don't have any like real close friends that I actually not anymore that I talk to all the time like I used to. So I don't have really no out, no, you know what I mean, no way to talk to anybody really. And the most two people that I were talking to, even if it wasn't a lot, even if I wasn't telling them all my business or we only talk every 3 to 6 months, they were my family. So to have the two people in my family that I pretty much talk to, you know what I mean, they're on my sister. I grew up with them for my whole life. It was just my mom and my sister, that's it. So for having them to gang up on me, like, I'm not a part of the family. Like, you just ganged up on me, you know what I mean? You didn't have no sympathy for how I felt or the reasons why I did what I did. You didn't care about that. All they cared about is how it affected them. And that's how they are. They're more, it's all about them type of thing. It was never about me or what any of that. So that's pretty much how my sister and me and my sister relationship pretty much spiraled out of control. And I said some things to her, but our relationship, my sister relationship was always kind of rocky because of my mother. Once again, my mother and my mother felt that I was old enough to, I didn't really need much direction. That's how she felt. And my sister needed more direction. So it was kind of like always them two and me out, stuck on the side, you know, just looking in. You know what I mean? I'm here, there, I'm here, there, I'm here. You know what I mean? It wasn't like all three of us together. It was more them two and that's it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and that's pretty much how it is. Like, my mom gave my sister more direction than she did me. Mind you, I am independent in my own way, but I mean, you're my mother. At some point, somebody needs some type of direction, you know what I mean? But none of that was given to me. And it was never the same type of, I feel like it was always a different kind of love than she had for me. Because sometimes when I was example, when I was getting my first car, I needed car insurance. It was my first car. Mind you, at this point, I'm a CNA. I'm making good money. So I can pay for my insurance and my car payment, no problem. Mind you, I'm still living with my mom, so I ain't paying nothing. All I would have been responsible was for half of the car insurance, her putting my car on her car insurance. She refused to do it whatsoever. But at a drop of a dime, she let my sister get on her insurance. My sister went through 4 or 5 cars. My mom gave me one car in the lifetime. One car, and that was my Honda. She gave me that one car. She brought my sister 4 different cars, probably like back to back in years, all Hondas. But what did she do for me? Nothing. I had to do this on my own. So I feel like some of the mistakes I made in life was because of me. For one, I have a thing about asking people for stuff, but that's with me. But not having that direction, not having anybody to tell me, I don't have my dad helping me with my life at all. Like, stuff you're supposed to know, like, in life, like car insurance, how to do this, how to do that. I had to figure this shit out on my own. I swear, I had to figure this stuff out on my own. It wasn't nobody holding my hand. I had to figure it out on my own. So I feel like if I had either my father or my mother there in like a more controlled setting, I would just cut out in the world. I feel like I would just cut loose in the world to figure it out on my own. Figure it out. Get your own apartment. Figure it out. Mind you, my mother was there in her own apartment, but she was not directly involved. I was doing it myself. I didn't know how to do that. I'm Googling everything, trying to figure out what to do. How do I do the lease thing? What do I do with that? How do I end it? I asked her sometimes, but it wasn't like she would be my first go-to, because you would never, I shouldn't have to teeth pulling to get information or anybody to give me direction. You should want to give it to me. Like, I feel like I would just cut out there to just figure it out on my own. I was just left by myself.
Okay.
And that's how I feel now. That's how I always feel.
Okay, so let's do that deep breath again. Let's do another one. It seems like you've been holding this in for a long time, and you've just been waiting to just let it out. And it's okay. I'm glad that you feel comfortable enough with me to verbally vomit on me. So I'm just going to summarize and paraphrase basically everything we just went through. And if I missed anything, just tell me I missed anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to give you what you gave me. And as I'm giving it to you, back what you said to me, I want you to just really think of a filling word. If you could just think of one filling word, I just want you to think of that word. And at the end of my little summary, I want you to tell, I'm going to ask you, how do you feel about all of that? And that's that word I want you to give me, okay? So, despite everything you went through with mom, it always ended in a defeated relationship. And no matter how much you tried to have a relationship with her, it always ended in a negative demeanor. And then mom caused the issue with you and sister, so now you don't have the support or the communication with your sister at all, even though you and your mom still technically have one now. And then you don't have support of dad, so there was another support system no longer there. So it's making you feel now alone. And no matter how many times you went to mom asking for help with everything and growing up and going into the adult world, it was denial, denial, denial. But you have to sit and watch her hold your sister's hand, as you say, because she didn't hold your hand, but she holds your sister's hand, and she does everything for your sister, and you felt alone and felt like without dad being there and her not really guiding you in the mindset that you felt like she should have guided you, you were just pushed out to grow up and live life and learn about life on your own. And at this point, you have no one as your support system to talk to outside of, you said, a spouse and your uncle, but you don't talk to people about your problems. You've learned to just bottle everything inside. You learn to just be independent. You've learned to just get money, go to work. You've learned how to be an adult on your own. Is that it?
Yeah.
So hearing me now tell you back in a summary of what you gave me, if you could put a filling word to all of that, what filling word would you put to it?
I don't really know what like a feeling word you're really looking for, like what type of feeling word, but one word that I come to mind is like neglected. That's all. I just feel neglected in all aspects of my life.
Feel neglected. So you say you feel neglected, and you went through scenarios. You can give me examples of how you felt neglected. Are you at a point in life where you're just comfortable? I don't want to say okay, I want to say comfortable with not having the relationship with mom and sister? Or is there some type of relationship or communication with mom and sister that you want to have?
Like at this point, like the person I am and how I bottle my feelings and just move on from it, I don't. Like at this point, I'm fine. We just being cordial and that's it. And if I never talk to my sister again, I already have accepted it because, like I said, we didn't talk every day. We didn't talk, so I'm not really missing. I'm missing her because she's my sister. I'm not missing anything else because we didn't have anything else to. We didn't have a relationship, so what? I can't miss a relationship that we never had. So, I mean, I think about her is because I have love for her and she's my sister.
Right.
That's it. And the same with my mother because she is my mother. But if they weren't nobody to me, it is what it is. Like, I ain't worried about this. This ain't gonna be stressing me out. Like, I would have moved on quickly. But since they're my blood, it's hard.
So you told me after we went through the whole thing, you said you felt neglected, and then I gave you back everything you gave me, and I asked you, would you be okay without this relationship, and you said yeah. And I hear you tell me yeah, but looking at you, I see the tears, I see the sadness. So
It's not. I'm sad and upset. It's not at the fact that I'm not having a relationship with them. Cause like I said, how can I miss something that I never had? I miss the fact I'm sad and hurt is because that I never had a relationship. So it was just hard.
I'm going handkerchief. Take your time.
It was. I mean, it's just hard.
You can take a moment if you need a moment. Okay. Want to take a deep breath again? It's a lot. And not having no one to talk to, not having no one to support you, not being able to get those feelings out, not being able to really talk about things as they were happening, so you only could bottle them up and just deal with them by yourself. It's a lot on anybody. Anybody in your position will be the same exact way. When you don't have a support system and you don't have no one to talk to, in your words, you don't have guidance. So we're okay with not communicating with mom and sister because that became your new normal. And that's now how you're living life. And right now, that's okay. And you say that you're okay. But in our conversation, I'm hearing that you would at least like to be able to have a conversation. It may not be, I'm going to tell you all my business. It may not be, this is every little thing. But to know you can at least pick up that phone and say, hey mom, or hey sister, this is what's going on, or how you doing. You are telling me that without telling me that. You're not going to get there today. If you want to get there, I can guide you through laying out options to get there. But when you leave me today, I want you to be comfortable in your mind because you bottled up these feelings for so long and you're now able to let them out, which is the first step. You were able to let them out. So now that you were able to let them out, now that you were able to get tears out, because it seemed like you held them for a long time, how do you feel now?
I don't know. I just feel. I don't know how to feel.
So when you say you don't know how to feel, would it be fair to say you feel numb?
Yeah, like I like it's. I feel like there's like nothing else I can do to fix my relationship with them. Like conversation with my mom is fine. That's all it's gonna be. Well, my sister is, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what, I don't know what else to do to build any type of relationship with her because she already has this thing that, like, she's not on my side. She's against me. So already, how can I try to like talk to her or do any of that when her mindset is already like she's against me and not like with me. Um, and sometimes I don't really feel like having these feelings, so just just forget it. Like I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to be in my feelings. I don't want to have all this going on all the time. I don't want to think about any of this.
Mm-hmm.
And bringing it back up is hard. I already stopped thinking about it and learned to like maybe think about it a little bit, but not as much to get me in my feelings. One little thought and pew is out. That's it. So,
Take deep breaths. It's okay to feel how you are. It's okay to feel stressed. It's okay to feel angry. Because that's how you feel about your situation that happened to you. But you have resilience. You've learned how to overcome difficult challenges that you're faced with. You've learned to adapt. So I want you to definitely not be so hard on yourself and give yourself credit. And it seems that you definitely want relationships with mom and sister, but you have come to the conclusion that that's not going to happen, and you're okay with that. And that in itself is okay. You don't know what the future holds, and that's okay as well. But don't carry the weight of the world on your shoulders when you don't have to. Continue to grow, continue to live in your truth, and maybe later on down the line things will change. But right now, you have come to the conclusion on your own that having that relationship with them is not good because of the seesaw that you guys had, and it's not going to happen right now. And you're okay with that. You were able to express feelings, you were able to cry out. So it is okay. So, have you ever thought about doing a journal?
no.
So, a journal can be used for your own personal self, or it can be used like when you come back for next sessions if you want to share with me. It could be used for if you wanted to use it as writing letters and then reading those letters to people. So, because we talked in this session about the relationship with mom and sister or the lack thereof that relationship, I'm going to send you home, and I want you to do a journal. But inside of this journal, I want you to write a letter to your mom, and I want you to write a letter to your sister. And I want you to just put closure to both of those situations separately. If you choose to share them next week, that's fine. If you choose not to, that's also okay. It will come in due time. But I want you to just let it all out on that paper. And if you want to, however much you want to write, I want you to write it all out. And when you come back next week, we're going to talk about that homework I just gave you. And we're going to see where we can go from there. So, as of right now, considering everything we talked about, considering everything that came out, how are you feeling right now?
I feel okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I just, I feel like level, like in the middle, kind of. Like I really don't have like a serious strong feeling or a serious sad feeling about it right now.
Okay. So do you feel like we need to talk more, or are you
I'm content.
you're content? Okay. Okay. Want to do another deep breath? You can also use that when if you find yourself feeling overwhelmed about the situation or any situation, take the deep breaths. It's okay. So, do you have anything else you want to go over?
No, I'm okay.
Okay. All right. So I want you to definitely do the journal. One letter to mom, one letter to sister. Just pouring it all out. We can talk about it next week if you feel comfortable. If you need me before our session next week, call and we'll get it set up. Other than that, I want you to know it's going to be okay. I want you to continue to be strong. I want you to continue to keep working through like you've been. Don't hold the weight on your shoulders. All right?
Mm-hmm.
It was nice meeting you, Miss Henry.
Me too.